In my opinion, this is where the magic happens. This is where all the tissue comes in. This is where all the tissue gets checked to make sure that they're appropriate for transplantation. They get processed and they get sent to surgery centers where surgeons transplant them into recipients who need a new cornea. Due to the generosity of our donors and the donor families, we're able to get tissue that we can conduct research on. And this research can then be applied back into the community to create a positive impact on the recipients in our community and in other communities in the US and worldwide. Every day when I come in and we have tissue to work on, we realize that this tissue used to belong to someone who was someone's father or someone's brother or sister or mother. And so we always try to make the best use and the most use of the tissue, either to transplantation or to research. And if we can't utilize it for our own research in-house, we try to find a researcher, maybe someone who's working on AMD or glaucoma, so that they can use that tissue to work towards a treatment for those diseases. What you see behind me is a table where we check in all of our tissue where we recover from donors, whether it be for transplant or for research. Once the technician checks in this tissue, we store it in the transplant refrigerator or the research refrigerator. The tissue is then evaluated by our trained technician to make sure that they are appropriate for transplant and meet the requirement for transplant processing. Tissues will get processed for transplant for specific types of surgeries by our processing technicians in those clean rooms back there. After processing, we examine and evaluate the tissue once more to make sure that everything is in order and the tissue still looks good for transplant before we send the tissue out the door. We have access to our laboratory here and the donated tissue, and so we were able to work with a surgeon who is interested in treating keratoconus. And so we perform research in the laboratory, and then the results are promising and seem like it would be safe and would work well to treat keratoconus. And we're actually able to work with that surgeon to implement that treatment and that surgery now in the field. And so there are people out there who used to have or have keratoconus who has been treated by a process that we helped develop.